Questions do you have about dealing with your ex, dealing with your partner, dealing with the confusion of being inside a toxic relationship? You might be wondering, is it a narcissist? Is it a narcissistic relationship? Is he toxic in a narcissistic way? And at the end of the day, I want you to consider that whether he has the label narcissist or not, it actually doesn't matter at all. What matters is the abuse that you are putting up with, the abuse that's actually happening to you. So as you're logging in here, what questions do you have for me? Drop any questions you have inside the chat. I'll answer them right here and now, and we'll talk through this piece of dealing with the toxic person that you're with and how to be able to process, how to be able to actually be free. Majority of people that I talk to, they have this brain fog, this confusion, this frustration of like, what's actually true? What's actually real? I don't understand. I'm not sure what's going on. If you're in that point and you have these questions, drop questions in the chat and let's talk through them. Let's deal with some of the questions you're currently facing being with a toxic person. How to heal, how to move forward. What does it actually look like? You might be struggling to have this motivation of like, I'm struggling to be motivated to even do things on a given day. Like it's a struggle just to get out of bed. It's a struggle to do sometimes basic tasks. This is because the guy that you're with has slowly eroded every single aspect of you, slowly taken away pieces of you, slowly disintegrated who you are, which is why your hopes, your dreams, your ideas, your thoughts, your vision, your values seem to not be something that you actually want because it's something that he's imposing on you. What questions do you have about narcissists, narcissistic abuse, the abusive, toxic relationship that you're in right now? Drop a question down below and let's talk. Let's answer some of these questions today. Oftentimes people will get to a place where they just feel stuck mentally and emotionally. It'll produce a trauma bond. It'll produce a soul tie. It'll produce like this piece that feels like you're trapped mentally and emotionally in a prison. When you're in this prison, you're not sure how to actually be free. You're not sure how to actually move forward, but it produces this incongruency of who you are at home versus who you are at work. You're not able to show up strong and confident like you do at work because at home, he belittles you. He puts you down. How many of you have a person in your life that has slowly been belittling you, putting you down, calling you names, telling you how you're not good enough, how you're not worthy? Small, subtle comments that are slowly just degrading you. You're going out in that? Do you think people would actually like that? I can't believe you just did this. Oftentimes, it's these small little pieces that he's going to do to try to be able to devalue you. Narcissist stalks you. A lot of times you'll have narcissists that will stalk. Like, unless you go the legal route, you're typically not going to get them to back off. Like, you have to be able to have some type of a consequence of his actions and of his decision. If you don't, then oftentimes he'll just keep doing it over and over and over. He'll get this attachment piece of like, oh, I'm going to keep going after you no matter what. And he won't stop. He'll just keep coming back to you over and over and over again. So consider that. Thought you could be cordial, but no. Majority of times, when you're with the narcissist and when you break up, when you're actually free, you're not able to be cordial with the toxic guy. Why? Because he doesn't actually care about being cordial with you. He cares about power and control over you, over his image. As soon as I witnessed the power he just got from me, I pulled all my power and attention away. Lisa, that's great. Because like you have to be able to pull back from this person and pull back your power so you can focus on you. If you focus on him, he wins every single time. As you guys are logging in here, drop any questions you have in the chat about the toxic relationship that you're in or that you're struggling to heal from. I have no idea what to do with the conversation or lack thereof. I try to have a conversation about something. He avoids in serious, impressive maneuvers. The more I try to clearly state what I'm confronting, he doesn't answer, but answers without saying anything. Christina, that's because you're dealing with a guy who doesn't want to be accountable, and as a result, he's always going to deflect. He's always going to avoid. It's not a piece that you have anything that you can do because as you keep bringing stuff up to hold him accountable, he's always going to deflect. He'll do circular conversations or circular reasoning. Try to be able to avoid coming to an answer or conclusion. So when you're inside a conversation like that, you can keep redirecting it. He'll start going off and be like, nope, we can talk about that later. We're talking about this right now. Well, I appreciate that, but we're going to talk about this right now. That you have to keep pulling it back to the same topic. And eventually he'll just keep blowing up, or eventually he'll walk away being like, okay, that's stupid. I can't talk about anything else except for what she wants to talk about. But he'll use all different types of things. You have to understand there's not a scenario that you're going to look like the good guy in a toxic relationship. He's always going to paint you to be the bad guy. So as soon as you can release that piece of like, well, I don't want to look like the bad guy, and you embrace it, that's all you're going to have to do to start to get to this place where you can say, hey, I need to say what I need to say, or I need to do what I need to do. I need to go to where I need to go, whatever it might be. You have to do this, but otherwise he's always going to project and put stuff on you to keep you stuck. Then out of thin air, even after being caught, he's just changed with no conversation. Yeah. But how long does that change actually last? How long does it actually hold? Because typically it'll be a short little bit of change and then it'll revert back, which is why you stay stuck in the relationship because you keep getting these highs and these lows. We call it the intermittent reinforcement. There's a high of like, oh, he's changing, and then back down of like, yeah, he didn't change. And then, oh, he's changing, then back down, he didn't change. And your mind will play tricks on you to avoid the trauma, to avoid the pain underneath, and you'll keep doing it. You'll keep staying over and over and over. I'm almost out and never return. Yeah, the biggest thing is like, don't keep that cycle going. Mine walks away and says he's defending himself against the abuse. Sandy, like this is a piece where you need to start moving away out of this relationship, because otherwise he's going to keep manipulating every single thing that you say to make you feel stuck, to make you feel trapped. The whole piece inside of this is you'll develop this trauma bond that will leave you stuck, where you'll keep cycling back over and over and over again. Really discarded after 15 years. A lot of good memories. Yeah. A lot of times you'll have a narcissist that will discard you, and then there'll still be these memories, these good memories. I was talking to a client just the other day where she was struggling with the good memories, the positive moments. She was trying to figure out, how do I actually work through those? And part of it, I had to be able to explain to her, like, you had good memories because that was you and that was in that place. You had experiences for you. Appreciate and experience those good memories, but don't hold on to those good memories as them being tied to the other person. You can have good memories just of you. You had a good time. Yes, he was there, but you had a good time, because otherwise you'll start to attach good memories to the other person, and it'll start producing this bond and this attraction back to a guy that actually doesn't care about you. Great questions. What other questions do you have? Drop them into the chat. We'll go through them really quick here. So there's never actually is any change. He just states it. Now he constantly states, I'm not allowing him to love me, that we'd be happy if I'd allow it, which means ignore his actions against me. Christina, you have to understand you're in an endless loop. And just so you know, that loop is not going to stop until you stop it. Because he's always going to find a way to be able to blame it on you, to be able to project it back on you, to make you the bad guy for not letting him abuse you. So until this piece starts to actually have a break or a separation, until we are able to get the healing piece so that your confidence level builds to the place where he no longer triggers and controls you, that's what we need to get to. I'd love to be able to help you with that. You can go to rawmotivations.com just to know a little bit more, and would love to be able to talk to you. What do you do when sometimes your spouse says and does really great hard things for you, but other times refuses to even be present? Sometimes he is really wonderful, and others he is terrible. Look at the consistency. If this is back and forth and you confronted the negative times and you're trying to work on them and he's not willing to work on them, then what you're doing is he's just selling you into a false reality. Like, there's not anything real there. If there's, oh, it's a good time and then it's a bad time. That's the intermittent reinforcement. Those are the things that leave you stuck, leave you trapped. Mount, my little children still remain. Only way to hear from the kids. Blocked will be the court system. Wish me luck. Yeah, it's good. I'm glad you're going through the court system, because that's one of the surefire ways to make sure that you can actually have designated time with the kids. He'll have different time with the kids, possibly, depending on how the custody goes. But then there's a separation piece. Big piece inside of this is when you're trying to heal, we have to shift the focus from him back onto you, which is one of the hardest things for people to do. Because a lot of the different things of like mom guilt. It's a lot of different pieces of worry and fear and anxiety. There's a lot of different things that are going to distract you. We have to be able to bring this piece back into you, your direction. Yes, you're doing something right. He's terrified of me opening up to the program. 100%. Christina, if you have it, so if he doesn't want you to talk to me, then go to trappedtofreedom.com. Sign up for the challenge that we have there. It's a smaller challenge, and it's easier for you to kind of slip through that than it is for you to be on different calls or being able to have calls with me. That might be a piece there. So you can check that out too. Inside of all this, part of the goal of what I do on side of the platform is try to be able to bring awareness, try to answer questions so that you can actually see and understand how there's a path forward to actually heal. There's a million different ways to move forward. We just provide simple steps to be able to liberate your mindset, your thought process, break the trauma bonds so you no longer go back to this toxic guy over and over and over again. So we're just on really quick for Q&A. We'll jump on some other time, but I wanted to just jump on, answer some questions. If you want any help at all, please reach out. Go to rawmotivations.com. We'd love to be able to help you move forward in the healing process. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day, and we'll see y'all next time.